Right, howdy folks, welcome back. So here we are over at the solar X-ray flux, and you can see that we started off the day below the seafloor, and the sun was real kind of quiet, almost like it was kind of going dead or something, and then somebody hit it with some paddles and we had a CME, and then it came back to life and we're back in sea range again. So that's some good news right there, folks. This little line right here is some good news because this was not looking too good. It was too quiet right there, and then it boom, we got some kind of CME. Unfortunately, the seeds instrument is just not uploading data, and when they finally did, the data they did upload was scrubbed. So, so there's not really much to show you from the seed satellite. So we're basically focusing on this and the core of the planet's reversal and all of the evidence leading in that direction. Okay, so here we are. Here's the sun's core. Okay, this is the sun's Schumann resonance, and it was a little too quiet there. It looked like something was it was either going to dive to the floor or something, but then we had, like I said, it looks like somebody hit it with the paddles and brought the sun back to life a little bit. Okay, so there's that instrument. And then on my last live stream, I noticed that the volume wasn't very good and we didn't get to hear very clearly what Ben was saying. So we're going to come over here and replay this. And I want you guys to write down this little list of stuff that he's going to list off, okay? So here we go. So listen closely. I'll stop and I'll pause so you guys can write stuff down, and we'll kind of rehash what he says here, okay? So here we go.
Has already detected the interstellar shocks, the shock fronts from the galactic, detected the
Hang
of our
on.
way in. Voyager has already detected the interstellar shocks, the shock fronts from the galactic current sheet impacting the heliosphere and coming into the solar system. Pluto had its atmosphere.
Okay, so he said that the satellite has detected the heliosphere has detected a shock in it. Okay, that's possibly from the sun or whatever is causing our sun to react the way it is. Okay, so that is one. Write down Voyager detected shock waves impacting the heliosphere. Okay, then as we go move on, he's talking about Pluto next. So
That was a big one of
hang
the
on.
galactic current sheet impacting the heliosphere and coming into the solar system. Pluto had its atmospheric collapse. That was a big one of the last couple of years.
That's huge. Anybody know of Pluto's atmosphere collapsing? So I want you to write down atmosphere collapse. Okay? And now let's continue.
Neptune, big story was that it had its storm reversal, basically a hurricane going the wrong way after many storms had been studied on that planet, indicative of a systemic reversal.
Did you hear what he said? They had storm reversal indicative of a core reversal. Okay? That's basically what he said there. Okay, so write that down.
Uranus, like Neptune before it, has seen record storms, record aurora. Haven't seen one going the other way yet, but still major records set on Uranus.
Okay, write down record storms and record auroras. Okay? And this is effects that the sun is having on the other planets. So if there's something happening to the sun, it should have effects on the other planets, and he's giving you details of what effects is having on the other planets.
Now, we have been able to see Saturn in telescopes for centuries, and they have known that there is a superstorm that hits the northern hemisphere every 30 years, except it just happened 10 years early, indicative of perhaps a magnetic change on the planet, allowing more incident radiation to come in and trigger that storm a little earlier.
Okay, that was a mouthful right there. So he was saying that it's caused superstorms in the northern hemisphere to happen early. So calendar superstorm events happening early. Okay, like 1,000 year events happening early. Okay, so write that down. Okay, also he talked about the penetrating radiation. Let me replay that just a little bit.
Except it just happened 10 years early, indicative of perhaps a magnetic change on the planet, allowing more incident radiation to come in and trigger that storm a little earlier.
Okay, so penetrating radiation triggering storms. Okay, that's what he basically said there. So planets are experiencing penetrating radiation triggering storms. Okay, so on to the next one.
Some of the most changes of all, the big red spot
Oh,
will
here.
trigger that storm a little earlier. Jupiter's had some of the most changes of all. The big red spot started fading. Red Junior was born. Its cloud bands disappeared and then reappeared. Most importantly, its radio frequency is changing, and that is due to electrons accelerated in its magnetic field. And since the nature of an electron didn't change, the nature of its magnetic field must have changed.
Okay, another big mouthful there. First, he said the clouds, the spot on Jupiter disappearing, and then Red Junior appearing. Okay, so new storms appearing, um, clouds disappearing and reappearing. And then he also talked about Jupiter's radio frequency changed. So write that down. Clouds disappearing and reappearing, and radio frequency changes. Okay? And that was on Jupiter. Now get ready for this. Listen to what he says about Mars, our closest neighbor.
The inner solar system, we have also detected more interstellar pickup ions and energetic neutral atoms, two of the things that we would be expecting to come with the galactic current sheet. Mars climate changes dwarf those on Earth, and its seismicity has been off the charts. We've been breaking records seismically there. And of course, we also recently learned that its mantle is alive and active, and I don't think that they missed that one before. I think that that's a new feature. Earth, obviously.
Did you just hear what he said? He said that there's a mantle going on inside of Mars, that its seismic activity is off the charts, and that it has new forms of seismic activity, which is seismic activity that is off the charts. So write that down. Seismic activity off the charts and new forms of seismic activity. That's an important one right there, okay? So we're talking about new forms of seismic activity that is off the charts. So write that down. New forms of seismic activity that's off the charts. And then also write down new mantle activity, because we didn't know Mars had a mantle. All of a sudden it does now, and it's activating. So new mantle activation. All right? Now let's continue on.
We go over the changes here all the time, from the magnetosphere to the ionosphere to the
Start
atmosphere,
Earth.
the rotation change. Venus' fastest winds are 33% faster. That's no small thing right there.
Okay, Venus's winds are 33% faster, so write down increased winds. Okay? So you should have a nice little list of about 11 to 10 items, okay? Now, what I wanted to do is, what's this next one I'm going to do? Okay, so what I wanted to do is go backwards through this list real quick and tell you what we're seeing and what to expect. All right, because he just gave you side effects to look for here on Earth. These are side effects that are already being recorded on other planets, therefore, they should be ones to look for on Earth. So here we go. But what we're going to do is we're going to count backwards. So starting with number 10, increased winds. Yes, we have seen increased winds on our planet all over the place. These derecho storms, our hurricanes, our tornadic activity year-round now. Number 9, new kinds of mantle activity. All right, now that our core is spinning the opposite direction, we are having new forms of mantle activity, which causes, number 8, the next one, new forms of seismic activity that is off the charts. Okay, we're seeing that right now. Counting backwards now, radio frequency changes. Okay, so let's go over to the Schumann and let's check out our radio frequency changes. Okay, This is the core of the planet rubbing on its shell, creating harmonic vibrations that emanate from the surface of the planet. They bounce off of the atmosphere and come back down to Earth and create these little screeches on this instrument. Unfortunately, I think that's as far as I can zoom in. So I might take the camera out for just a second and move it around. Okay, hopefully we can do this a little bit better now. Now that you got a good peek at that, that was yesterday. This is today. And this was yesterday, okay? The line that we're most concerned about is this little line right here at 8 hertz, okay? Coming over here, read this little line going across at 8 hertz. It's barely going, but it's going. That's good news, okay? There's some dim spots in it there. You see that? That's where the core is kind of slowing down, all right? It's going backwards, but it's still squeaking along. Now, you see this event right here and this arch right here? This is strange little reading right here, okay? I'm going to tell you something. Right after this arch right here is when that earthquake struck Turkey, okay? So the core did a little something something there, a little shimmy, and right afterwards we had that earthquake activity in Turkey. Okay, this correlates exactly with it. It happened right after this hump. Probably something happened here in the core. It either slowed down or did a little hit a bump or something. It started off with a high pitched screech and went lower and then went back to high pitched again. All right, here, let me take this out and let me start using this. I wish I could zoom in a little bit better, but all right, so it had this little hump in it, all right? And right after the hump, right here, is right when the earthquake happened. All right, so we have a correlation there. Now, let's see, where was I here? Okay, so now on to this. A couple of weeks ago, we had this event that I reported on that happened where? Huh? Over Turkey? Yeah? Hmm? You think maybe this is a sign, a little warning sign? It looks like a target, a bullseye. Could that possibly be the warning that these people were getting from God, telling them to flee the area or prepare for what I'm about to show you next? Okay? So there was their sign. This was a warning. This is one of God's warnings. That's why I report on this stuff, okay? Now let's go over here to the earthquakes. All right. Now something that needs to be addressed here that nobody is talking about, all right? I always try to connect the dots and see a bigger picture. And I know it looks kind of like a cross a little bit, but that's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about is something different, okay? Now, I'm sure you guys are all aware that we had the big 7.8 quake and we had a 7.5. And everybody's reporting about these two earthquakes we had. Well, I want you to take a look at this map as we start to zoom in here. Okay? These are all reported aftershocks, okay? I hate that term aftershock because it makes it seem like it's an afterthought. Everybody seems to forget all about these other little quakes, and they're only worried about the two big ones. Yeah, the big ones, right? Well, let's come on over to this side here. And let me see if I can zoom in just a tad bit harder for you guys. Because I want you to see, whoopsie, this list over here, okay? And we're going to start looking at magnitudes. Most of these are all from Turkey, okay? And as we go, there's 4.4, 4.3, 4.7, okay? So as we keep going to 5.5, 4.6, 4. That's Columbia, sorry. 4.3, 4.2, 4.8. There's a 5, 5.5. Whoops, yeah. 4.5, 4.4. Okay, as we go through all of these, I noticed something. There is not a single afterthought that is less than a 4.1. Okay? These are these are earthquakes. These aren't just aftershocks. These are, let's zoom in a little bit and kind of look around here. These are all spread out, individual places, little mountains, little valleys. These are more than just aftershocks, you guys. These are all individual quakes. Okay? And that's what this reports. This is reporting earthquakes. All right? These are registering as earthquakes. And these poor people over here, when you're in a crumpled building that's hanging by a thread, a 4.4 does not feel like an aftershock. It feels like a friggin' earthquake. Ask those people taken seriously enough. They're only taking, oh, there's a new one. Okay? And I went through here about an hour ago, and there were over 100 earthquakes. Okay, I'm not going to call them aftershocks. I'm going to stop calling them afterthoughts. I'm going to call them what they should be called. These are earthquakes. Okay, this is an earthquake swarm. This is not just some big earthquake with a bunch of little aftershocks. The quakes are getting bigger. Usually aftershocks descend in intensity. Okay, these are climbing. Look, 4.6, 4.7, and we're going forward in time now. Okay, this one happened before or after this one, so we're going up in time this way. Look how they increase: 4.6, 4.7, 4.8, 5.0. Okay, they're not decreasing, they're increasing. These aren't aftershocks. This is a earthquake swarm event. All right? This is more than what they're just portraying on the news. And if you think about the power of all of these quakes, the comparison to atomic weapons, dropped or whatever, it's devastating, and you can tell by the devastation on the news that this is not normal. This is on the list. This was number 8. It was new seismic activity, new forms of seismic activity that are off the charts. That's what they were seeing on the other planets. Here it is happening now to our planet. You guys, the core has reversed. This is a result. You saw it from the Schumann. You saw this happen directly after that hump in the Schumann. This is a result of the core, okay? And this is not over. This is probably going to spread. This isn't the only place on the planet that's going to have this problem. Hopefully you guys are understanding what I'm saying, because this is not normal. Okay, even ask Dutch Sense. I heard him say, I don't know. I've never seen anything like this before. Okay, and he predicted, a 7.8, but another other place on the planet. Well, here we're having 7.8, 7.5. There's a bunch of 6s in here. There's a 6.7. There's a 6.3. There's a 6.0. They're in here somewhere. I have to scan through this list a little bit better, but something. All right, here's the 6.0. Now, I want you to take note of something. You see how it's in red? That's like a major earthquake, right? The one's highlighted in red, all right? So I want you guys to see something kind of funny here. As we scroll down, look at this major earthquake in red. Look at this sucker, a 3.8. That's not even a 4 point. That's smaller than their aftershocks or afterthoughts they're having here. Let's go see where this monster was at. Okay. Click on it here. Oh, it just says anyways. Well, it's in New York. Wow, a 3.8 for those New Yorkers is a big, a major event here. Yeah, there it is. Now it popped up. So yeah, 3.8 in Seneca, New York is a major earthquake for these liberals out here in liberal land, wherever. Okay, I'm sorry if I offend some of you, but I think you understand what I'm trying to point out here. They consider a 3.8 a major quake. Shit, that's a mouse fart compared to what these guys are having for breakfast. Okay, 3.8 is a major quake. It just Just kind of funny. All right, and here we are with a 5.7, 5.8, another 6.0. Here's the 7.5, the second big one that hit. Okay, so this is just rattling off more and more earthquakes, and this is not over. This just happened right while we were speaking. I wouldn't be surprised we have another 7. Whoops, happen here real soon. Okay, I know how God works. He works in threes, and when you see 2 7s in a row, watch out for a third 7. It's like a jackpot. He likes 777. So I'm warning you guys. Watch out for more activity, another big devastating one possibly in this area, because this is not over. This is not your typical one and done earthquake. This is a huge earthquake swarm because we having plate tectonics happening because of this what's happening to our core. Okay, now, whew, let me see. I got X out of this here. Let me clear some of this out because I want to try and play one video here. And I believe maybe if it'll let me click on this one. There you go. Reload that real quick and see if it'll. Yeah, all right. Let's play this quick little report here. I had it set up, but.
.com. That's
Hang on. Let's get to the part we wanted right there. Okay, fair use.
a strange, unprecedented vortex has been spotted above the sun's north pole. A huge filament of solar plasma has broken off the sun's surface and is circling its north pole like a vortex of powerful winds. However, scientists have no clue what caused it. Quote,
We know what
talk
caused
about
it.
a polar vortex. Material from a northern prominence just broke away from the main filament and is now circulating in a massive polar vortex around the north pole of our star, said space.
Huh? Okay, that's more evidence of our sun's core doing a shimmy just like the Earth's core. Just like I've been showing you on these instruments. The instruments are telling the same story, and here we are having these kind of reactions that we were told to look for. I think there's a little more. Let's continue real quick. Scientists are baffled, huh? Well, we're not. We know what's going on, don't we?
Forecaster Tamitha Skov on Twitter while sharing a video sequence that was taken by NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory showing the odd whirlwind. Quote, implications for understanding the sun's atmosphere dynamics above 55 degrees here cannot be overstated. Other solar physicists shared Skov's excitement about the unusual phenomenon. But what exactly is it, and why is it important? Scott McIntosh, a solar physicist and deputy director at the National Center for Atmospheric Research in Boulder, Colorado, told Space.com that while he has never seen a vortex like this, something odd is happening at the sun's 55-degree latitudes with clockwork regularity once every solar cycle.
Okay, they just told you there's a vortex going around the top of the sun, something that astrophysicists have never seen before and can't explain. This is the core of the sun slowing down, and I showed you the magnetic field lines the other night, but here's one coming out and reconnecting and causing a polar vortex. A vortex because the core is spinning inside, creating vortex at its northern pole. Okay? So, I think you guys are starting to grasp what's going on. Now that we have your mind opened and ready to accept some more information, we're going to go down a rabbit hole that you guys need to know about now. I've been holding off on this for a while, but it's time that you guys know now. So, here we go. Let's pop into this. All right, you see this gentleman right here? Does anybody recognize his face before I play this video? Does anybody recognize this guy at all? He's like some drug kingpin, or do you recognize this guy? Just wondering, because I'm going to do an experiment here in a minute. Okay, so I'm about to play this video, all right? And I want you to listen real closely.
How well do you know your neighbor? How well do you know your friends? How well do you know your boss? There should be a very clear difference between artificial intelligence and Homo sapiens sapien. Do you know the difference? How well do you know your friends? How well do you know your friends? How well do you know your boss? Your neighbor? How well do you know your friends? How well do you know your boss? There should be a very clear difference between artificial intelligence and Homo sapiens. Artificial intelligence and Homo sapiens. Artificial intelligence and Homo sapiens sapien. Do you know the difference?
Do you? Do you know the difference? Can you tell? Can you tell one of these people from a normal person?
There should be a very clear difference between artificial intelligence and Homo sapiens sapien. Do you know the difference?
He was saying before. Here, let's do another little thing here real quick. I want to play a game with you guys here.
Sapien. Very. How well do you know your friends? How well do you know your boss? There should be a very clear.
Okay? How well do you know your friends? How well do you know your boss? How well do you know your police officers? Your military? How well do you know your congressman? How well do you know your president? How well do you know anybody outside your family? Do you even know the people inside your family? Are you one of these people? How would you know? Huh? How would you know? I can tell you how I can tell. These people cannot answer questions. They can only read off of a script. Okay? These are your news reporters. Okay? These are your people on TV. Your actors. Your politicians. Your cops. Think of the people in our three-lettered agencies. Okay? Something else I want to point out here. This gentleman right here, this is not a person, this is a robot. I want you to look at the grainy quality of this film. Anybody that's a Generation Xer should be able to tell you that this old-ass film is from the late 80s or 90s. I can't pin down the year, but it's in that zone right there. They had this technology way back then. These things have been walking around with us for a long time. All right? Now, something I'm going to point out here, and I don't want to sound racist because robots don't have a race. But I want you to look at what this gentleman decided to make the gender and the ethnicity of this robot. Okay? I'm not going to say it. I want you guys to figure out what gender and ethnicity Model 101 is, okay? And while you're thinking about that, I want you to take a look at a little scene from a movie that everybody's probably seen called Terminator 6, Dark Fate. What's this? What's his ethnicity and race? Is Hollywood trying to tell you? No, they're screaming it loud and clear, okay? Now that you're starting to connect some dots, I want you guys to think about our open border. Our open border. Our open border. Yeah. Yeah. Getting interesting, huh? Let's go back and just one more time on this one.
This
How well do you know your neighbor?
You're-
How well do you know your friends? How well do you know your boss? There should be a very clear difference between artificial intelligence and Homo sapiens sapien.
They perfected it. Artificial intelligence and sapien sapien. They perfected it a long time ago. Okay? The little robots that they're showing you with the AI, the cute little girly girl one with the half a face or half a head, that's all fake stuff to keep you looking the other direction. Look at this. Okay?
Do you know the difference?
Do you know the difference, huh? Do you know the difference between a human and a robot anymore? No, you don't. Okay? So I'm going to leave you guys with that little gem, and I want you to think real deeply about what you're seeing and what's going on and who you can trust. Because there's not many people you can trust. And I think you're finding that out. And it's even hard to find people you can trust in your own family. All right? Is this you? Are you one of these? How would you know? Are you people even conscious? Are you even aware? Do you guys even get what I'm showing you here? Has it sunken in yet? Until my next video, I love you all, and I miss you all. Bye.